Hello friends, today in this tutorial I will be showing you that how to do form validation inside your HTML form with error messages. So basically let me show you the form validation that we will be building in this tutorial here. So this will be a simple form validation. So basically a lot of input fields are there here: username, email address, password and confirm password. So there are a lot of validations which are going on inside this form. So basically if you click here submit, you will now see the error messages that username must be at least 3 characters, email is not valid, password must be at least 6 characters, password 2 is required. So all these validations messages are, guys, we are coming it. So basically you can see the error messages. Also the border of each input field is changed to red color. You can see that it signifies that you have an error inside your form, and the border of the form is changed and alongside with the error message. So if I write a valid email like this, try to submit this, you will now see this will change to green color because this is the valid field. And if I enter a unique password, so let's suppose I write here QW, once again user must be at least 3 characters, so now it is also valid. And if I enter the password, it is valid. So you can see passwords do not match, so these two input fields need to be matched here, confirm password. So now you can see all these fields are valid, so it has changed the border color from red to green. So in this case, guys, you can validate your form. You can see this is form validation going on here. So basically here we are using some kind of JavaScript alongside with the CSS classes as well. So we will try to implement this form validation inside the JavaScript, HTML and CSS3. So if you're watching it for the very first time, please hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well. So we will try to implement this form validation. So for this I have written a complete blog post on my tutorial website webninjadeveloper.com. So you can get all the source code. This is a step-by-step instruction which is given inside the description of this video. So simply you can go to the live chat. Let me also give the link in the live chat. So all the source code is given, guys. So basically go to the description and copy paste all the source code. So now let me start writing this code, guys. So let me create a file which is called as form.html. So basically, guys, here we will be having a template. So we will be changing the title, which is called as form validation in JavaScript. So now we will be having a simple input div which will have a container class. We will have a form element, and basically it will have an ID of form and a class is also form. Inside this we will have a h2 tag which is registered with us. Then we will have a simple form control. We will simply have a label. This will be for username. So simply type here username, and then basically we will have a simple input field of type text. So we will be giving an ID to it of username, and basically we will be giving a placeholder which is equal to enter username. And also, guys, we will be putting a small tag right here. Basically here we will be showing the error message related to this input field, error message. That's it. So this is for the username, guys. Now we need to repeat this form control class once again. So this time this will be for email address. So we will simply type here email, and after this we will have input type email, and we will be giving an ID to it of email, and also we will be giving a placeholder which is enter email. That's it. We will also be having a span tag which is again for error message. Next field, guys, we will have is for password. So you will simply have the password field. ID we will be giving it password. placeholder, we will simply say enter password. So then we will be having a small tag, guys. After this will hold the error message, and then guys we will have the input field for confirm password. So we will simply give it an ID. This ID will be simply for password 2, password 2, enter confirm password. We will also have a small tag, and basically here we will be showing the error message. So also guys, we forgot to add the label, so we will also have a label for password, enter password, and also we will be having a simple label for password 2. So here we will simply say enter confirm password. So then we will have a simple button, guys, to submit the form. So we will have this button, and this will be simply submit. This is all the HTML which is required for this application. You will now see this is the HTML here, and now we need to apply the CSS, guys. So what we can do is that we can create a external file here, which is, we will declare it as style.css. So right here we will be declaring this file style.css. So the very first thing we will do, guys, we will import this font family, which you can see here on your screen. This is the Google fonts, we are using it. So basically guys, we will have the root, and we will be declaring some of the colors which we will be using inside this template, which is 2ECC71, green color for the success message, and for the error message we will be showing this basically this color E74C3C. This is a red color. And then guys, we will target all the elements, and basically we will make the box sizing to border box. So after this, guys, we will target the body. We will change the background color to this color, which is equal to F9 FAFP. This is a color. Let me make it side by side, guys. You can clearly see what is happening. So let me open this with live server. You will now see, basically, if I refresh it now, so it is saying let me include this file, style.css, body. You can see that we are changing the background color here. We are including this style.css, which is there inside the same directory. So just make it side by side. And after changing the background color, guys, we also need to change the font family, which is equal to Open Sans serif. So you can now see the font is also changed. We need to change the display to flex, align items to center, justify content to also center. So minimum height we need to say is 100 view height, and then we also need to remove the margin 0. So then guys, we will target the container class here. Background color we will say it's white. Border radius we will say is around 5 pixel. We also have a box shadow which is equal to 0.2 pixel, 10 pixel RGBA, 0,0,0,0.3. So you can now see this is a box shadow which we have applied here. If you see closely here, basically this is a box shadow. and also we need to give it a width of 400 pixel, just to have a width. So it has a width of 400 pixel. Now we need to target the H2 heading, guys. We need to align this heading in the center position. So margin we need to say 20 pixel. Please hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well. Then we will target the form class, and basically we will add a simple padding 30 pixel, 40 pixel. So you can now see we have some padding. So now we will target the form control class, guys. So here we will simply give some margin from the bottom position, which is 10 pixel, and also padding from the bottom position, which is 20 pixel, and position we will say it is relative. That's it. Now we need to style these labels that you see, guys, which is username, email, all these labels. So it is contained inside this form control class label, and first of all we will change the color of these labels to this color, which is gray color. Display we will change to block, so it will appear in the next line. Margin from the bottom position we will say it is 5 pixel, like this. So now guys we will style these input fields out there. So form control input, we will simply add a border to it of 2 pixels solid, F0, F0, F0. We will give it a border radius which is equal to 4 pixel. Display we will change to block, like this. Width we will say it is 100%. Width is 100%, is taking the full space here. We will also give some padding, which is 10 pixel, some spacing. Font size we will make it as 14 pixel. So after this, guys, we need to, when we focus inside this input field, we need to basically style this. So we will attach this pseudo class to this input element, focus. So we will remove the outline to none, or we can also make it 0. So we can also change the border color to this color, which is 777. So when you now do this, you will now see the border color will change, and outline will also not be there. And also, guys, we need to say form control, and we need to attach this success class. So whenever success is there, we need to change the border color to the color that we have defined, which is success color, like this. And similarly, when we have this error class, this input field will have a border color of error, like this. That's it. So these are the two defined other classes we are defining it. We will attach these classes inside JavaScript whenever we do form validation, form control, and basically inside this we will style the error messages. So which colors the error messages should appear? It should appear in the red color, so error color, and then it should position itself inside our absolute. So just put a semicolon, I forgot to do this. Bottom position will be 0, like this. You will now see. Left to also 0. Visibility will be hidden. So it will be hidden by default. Sorry, yes, var is equal to error color. After this, guys, we need to target this button element that you see right here, which is a submit button. So for doing this, we have the form, and inside this we have the button element. So cursor we will change it to pointer, and then we need to change the background color to this color, which is 3498 dB. This is a color. We also need to give it a border which is 2 pixels solid, 3498 dB. So you will now see the background color will change. We also need to give it a border radius of 4 pixel. Color we will change to white. Display block. padding to 10 pixel, font size to 16 pixel, margin from the top position will be 20 pixel, and width will be 100%. So this is your button, guys, which is styled here. If you closely look at the button, your button is styled. So that's it all, guys, for the CSS. So now you can simply write the JavaScript part. So right here at the bottom you can include your JavaScript file here. So script source, script.js, and basically now we will write the JavaScript here. So simply create this file script.js. So the very first thing you will do, guys, you will get all the references of all the elements in the DOM. So to get all the references, first of all we will get the reference of the form element. So we will use document.query selector for all these. Document.query selector, we will give it an ID form. We will get the username reference by document.query selector. We will give it an ID which is username. We will also get the email reference, document.query selector. We will give it a reference which is equal to email. And then for getting the password, document.query selector, query selector, password, and for the confirm password, document.query selector, query selector, which is password 2. So after getting all these references, guys, now basically we can attach the button. So basically we can attach a event handler to the button here. So whenever you can submit your form here, what happens here? So we can attach a form submit handler. So when the form submits, so basically we can add an event listener to it, submit. So this callback function will execute here. So first of all we will prevent the auto submission of the form, e.prevent default. Then we need to make this list of functions, guys. First of all we will make this function which is check required, and it will basically receive a array which will contain all the references, username, email, password 2. So now we need to make this function, guys, which is the first function, which is check required. So this simply checks that basically if all the elements are written. So if none of the elements is left empty. So here this is, you can see we are passing this as an array. So it is received as an array. So we have this for each loop here, which we can say we can apply this for each loop to this array here. And here for each input we will have an arrow function. For each input we will have a if condition here. Basically we will check if input.value.trim. Basically trim is a function which removes all the white spaces from the string, triple equal to nothing. In that case we perfectly know that this is empty. So for this case we will simply show an error to the user that we will pass the input as the first parameter, and the second parameter will be the actual error. So this will be get field name. So this function we will execute, guys. We will pass this input, and here we will simply say is required. So now we need to write two functions. First is show error, to basically show a error message. So first of all we will make this function which is get field name, and here we are receiving the input, and we are receiving this input here, and that's it. So we are receiving this input inside this function here. So if you closely look here, which is get field name input is required. So we are receiving this input. So basically we just need to return the input dot id dot character at 0. It returns the first character, and first of all we need to change it to uppercase, and then we simply need to say input id dot slice. That's it. So basically we are returning the field name. So if you now, we need to write this function which is show error. Basically this will show the error to the user. So we need to define this function show error. It will receive the input and the second parameter will be the actual error message. So here we will first of all get the reference to the form control, which is input dot parent element. So we will get the parent element here. After this we will simply attach form control dot class name. So this will be the class name we will attach, which is form control error, and then we will simply say form control dot query selector, and here we will target the small tag, and then we will manipulate small dot inner text is equal to message. So if you now refresh your application, guys, and basically if you go to this open with live server, and if you try to click submit, you will now see, if I refresh it now once again, the form submits here. But if you see, guys, we also need to attach basically this is e.prevent default. We are defining it inside right here. If you please closely look here. So let me write this function once again. So here we are checking for all the input fields out there. This is the array that we are receiving here, and then we are making this function which is get field name. And then we have this showing the error messages. So simply copy this, paste it here. If you also see the style sheet, guys, I think let me see if I made a mistake here. If I paste the styles here perfectly and try to refresh it, the application, let me see if it is working or not. So now you can see that it is saying username is required. So first of all, you need to enter the username. Click on submit. So also in the else statement, guys, if you see, basically inside this, if the field is inside this, we need to show the success input. So similarly, we will make a simple function for showing the success. We will receive the input. That's it. So inside the success, basically we will show the success class, which is form control input dot parent element, and then we will attach the class which is equal to form control success. So if you refresh it, if you enter the username, so it is changed to the valid input field. But here once again you will now see, and I think we have made a mistake inside this. Let me write the HTML once again. This is the HTML. Just copy this and paste it here. Click on submit. Now you can see that username is required, email is required, password is required, and password 2 is required. So you can now see it changes to success. If I write the valid email, it changes to success like this. So now we need to do the second validation, guys, which is equal to, so inside this we will declare the second method here, which is equal to the second method we will define here, which is equal to the length validation. So check length. So we will check the length of each input field specifically for username. So here we will provide the first of all the input reference, and then we will provide the characters, the minimum character limit and the maximum character limit, 3,15 here. So we need to define this character limit here. So we will define this function, which is input minimum max. So right here inside this we will have a simple input dot value dot length. We will check the length of this input field here, and first of all we need to make sure that it is smaller than minimum. Then we will call this error show error message here. We will pass the input reference here, and here we will be we'll call this method here get field name, and here we will simply say that must be at least so here we will pass minimum characters. So we will have another if condition here, which is input dot value dot length maximum. So in that case, once again we need to show the error message. In this case we will simply show that get field name input must be less than max characters. So like this, guys, you can now see this needs to be else if so if in the else scenario, basically we will show the success message. We will pass the input field like this. So now what will happen, guys, basically if you now see, click on submit, it is saying that username must be at least 3 characters. If I now write here, let's suppose 2 characters, once again this error will stay. Now it will be gone. Let's suppose if I enter greater than, username must be less than 15 characters. You can now see this is the validation which is for specifically for username input field right here, which is we are checking the length. And simply you can repeat this function, guys. Basically we can also check the length for another one, check length. We will pass the password as well. So password must be at least 6 characters and not more than 25 characters. If I call this function, you will now see it will also apply for the password as well. Password must be at least 6 characters. So if I write the password less than 6 characters, it is done here. If I write more than 25 characters, must be less than 25 characters. So in this case, like this. Next one, we will be doing it for the email. So check email, we will doing the email validation. We will pass the reference of email. So this we will be doing it simply by using, guys, regular expression. So we will pass the input field right here. So for doing this, basically we will have a regular expression here. We will define the regular expression, and then basically we will have a if condition, and basically we will check this regular expression here using the test method. We will pass the value of the email address right here. This will test it if the email is valid or not. If the email is not valid, if the email is valid, it will return true. Then we will simply show the success message. In the else case, we can show the error message like this. And also we can pass the message as well. Email is not valid. Email is not valid, like this. So if you now see, basically click on submit. Email is not valid. If I try to enter a valid email, then you can now see it is valid. If I try to make it invalid, email is not valid, like this. So this is the validation here. And lastly guys, the last validation is for the password and the confirm password. So we will simply say check password match. So we will pass for two references, password and password 2. So basically we just need to make this function, which is check password match. We will first of all get the reference input 1 and input 2. To basically now check it, we will have if condition input 1 dot value is not equal to input 2 dot value. In that case, we can simply show the error message input 2 passwords do not match. That's it. So if you now see here, basically passwords must be at least. If I write different passwords, passwords do not match. So now it is valid. I think 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now you can see that if I enter valid email, so this is the valid form. So this is all the form validation guys we did using CSS classes, JavaScript and HTML5. All the source code is given in the description of this video with a step-by-step instruction on my blog website. I have given this link in the description of this video. So please hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well. I am seeing that people are not liking the content. Please hit the like button, subscribe the channel, and I will be seeing you in the next live stream. Until then, thank you very much.